In this video, I'm going to show you a super easy way that you can start to add some variation to your capital letters. So let's just start by looking at the words here. So you can see that there's definitely a difference between the top purple row and then the pink letters down here. So if we just look at the E, you can see that for the purple one, the E looks like this, and for the pink one, the E looks like this. Okay, so it's pretty clear if you were to draw a normal E, the crossbar is here. So the difference that we're seeing is where that middle crossbar is crossing the letter. So the intersection point for this pink one is pretty high up. It's about a third of the way down from the top. And then this purple one is crossing pretty low compared to this middle right here. So there are some specific letters that are pretty good for adding this type of variation, which is what we're going to talk about next. So if we look at the letters A, E, F, H, and Y, I'm going to use pink to show you the ones that are higher up. So instead of crossing at the middle here, we're going to cross pretty high up with the pink. So A, E, F, H, and Y. Those are already looking pretty different from this top row right here. And then using the purple, I'm going to cross them lower. So down here. So the important thing is that I'm not crossing them too high or too low that they don't look like the letters anymore, but we definitely want to get a difference. So if we look at some words that have these letters in them, so I'm trying to keep them all at about the same point here. I just draw this, and then on this one I'm going to be keeping them lower. So you don't have to draw the pencil line. This is just a helpful way to keep things straight. So starting with the pink one and keeping them higher up, let's just cross all of these at that same point. Now for the A, sometimes you have to make some slight adjustments just because of the shape of it. Okay, so let's keep going for the word faithful. And then elated. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Let's go to the purple. So for this one, we're crossing it lower. Let's stay on this pencil line that I drew in here. All right, that's a pretty big difference between this one and this one. I would say that the pink ones, the ones that cross higher, are probably more of a playful, modern style. I mean, these are both definitely modern compared to the more basic traditional way of crossing them at the center, the vertical center. But I think that this maybe looks a little bit more playful. This could look more elegant if paired with a serif font or some sort of script font. Okay, so as you start experimenting, I would definitely start with these letters down here just because they're very straightforward in terms of the crossbar is just on the middle in the traditional format, and then you move it up or down. The Y is a little bit different because it's not just a horizontal line. But as you start to look at some other letters, for example, let's look at the letter P. So traditionally you would make your P like this. Now to make it match that pink style, you would cross it higher, and then the purple style, you would make it lower. Now, for some of these, like this one, you just want to make sure if it doesn't start to look like a D. If it comes down too low, crossing like down here, it would start looking like a D, and you still want to be able to read it. We're just trying to go for a different style. So there are some letters like O where you can't really make it look different based on where the crossbar is because there is no crossbar. There are some things you can do with, for example, the letter N. Here's the traditional way to write it for the pink version where you're crossing higher up. You could do something like this. Same with W, you could, for the low one, do this versus crossing it up here. Maybe the traditional one would look more like this. So just play around with the other letters and see what you can do. I also noticed that typically, especially for the ones that are crossing higher, they look a little bit more narrow, and then the ones that are crossing lower look a little bit fatter as a whole. So like even though this part of the A is the same here and here, this one looks fatter and this one looks narrower, and that's just based on where we're crossing it. Okay, so as you keep trying to vary your letters, just think about how you are crossing them and try to keep them consistent. You could try mixing and matching. Maybe you make all of your E's and F's cross up high and your A down low. You just want to make sure that you're consistent and that you can still read whatever you're writing. So have fun varying your letters. Hopefully this tip was really simple but can really help you out with your lettering. If you try this, let us know. Also let us know in the comments if you like the pink or the purple one better. So if you like crossing higher or crossing lower better.